Hey, Next Economy Now listeners. We're excited to announce that registration for our fall cohort of the Next Economy MBA is officially open. Beginning September 22nd, this 9-month facilitated learning journey was created for listeners like you, the entrepreneurs, artists, community leaders, and other folks on the front lines of the Next Economy movement. Based on our 15 years of experience working with over 350 different social enterprises, we'll explore the pitfalls of the business-as-usual economy and dive into key business principles from a regenerative and equity-centered lens, all while fostering the community and connection we need to stay resilient, inspired, and motivated in our movement to create a world that works for all of us. Interested in learning more? Join us for a free intro session where you can meet course facilitators and hear from our amazing alumni to determine if this course is a fit for you. Plus, save 20% on tuition when you register before August 3rd during our early bird sale. Get started at lifteconomy.com/MBA. Thanks for listening. And now on to the show.
Welcome to Next Economy Now. The goal of this podcast series is to highlight the leaders who are taking a regenerative, bioregional, equitable, democratic, racially just, and whole systems approach to creating the new economy.
Greetings, listeners, and welcome to Next Economy Now. My name is Sean Barry, and I'm a partner and worker owner at Lift Economy. Today, I'm delighted and honored to have Dror Yaron join me. Dror is a purpose-driven life and leadership coach who helps overwhelmed business leaders bring back badassery and bliss. As the board chair at Social Venture Network, he is collaborating with his peers to purposefully rebuild and re-energize this beautiful community. As a speaker, he facilitates conversations about humanizing business and practical ethics. Welcome to the show, Dror.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Great to have you. We like to invite all of our guests to share a bit about your background and how did you get into the work that you're doing today? Love to hear some of your life journey.
So yeah, from the outside, it may look like a squiggly line. From the inside, it is like a straight cut. And also looking back is always easier to explain what you've been doing. So actually looking back, I understand that I've been working on humanizing systems for quite a while. But the way I got there, I started with human resources in my military service. I'm Israeli. And already there, I realized a lot of people get pissed off when they're sent to do that in the army. Anyway, I realized that, and they also see like piles of paperwork and office work, but I realize it is about the humans. I mean, you're the first person somebody sees when they arrive. Like that encounter can make their next year or two. I mean, if you walk them around, introduce them to people. Yeah, after the army, I was a journalist. One of my first jobs was food and beverage writer, which is quite sweet at the age of 21, 22. So I fed a lot of my friends. And at some point, I've been writing, I became an editor, and it was time to go to the big newspapers. And it looked pretty corrupt from whenever it goes inside. Like you start seeing a lot of stuff that you don't like. And I decided to take a break, think on it, and I went to South America for 6 months, Bolivia, Peru, and Brazil. On the way home, I stopped in New York City. So I grew up in the 70s in Israel. America is Coca-Cola, Hollywood movies, fast food, like not a place you want to live in. But then you land in New York and you're like, wait a minute. And I realized that in order to experience the city, I need to make something in it. And writing in Hebrew was not the best way to do that. So I took up photography and actually really enjoyed it and ended up working in different photography-related jobs and having a couple of exhibitions. And 6 years later, I met a girl from Pittsburgh. And I knew she's going to be my wife the moment I met her. It took her a little longer, but I moved to Pittsburgh within a couple of weeks. Within 10 months, we were married. We have a 17-year-old now. When I got to Pittsburgh, that's where I started in education. So I ended up running a photography studio at the Manchester Craftsmen's Guild, which is an after-school program for Pittsburgh public school students. They come there and they get to choose what studio they go to. We had photography, we had digital arts, ceramics, and design. And people from all over the world would come and see what we do because kids at like have trouble in the school across the street come to us and they shine. And like many big revolutionary ideas, it's very simple. We treated the kids with respect. So you walk in the door, somebody's there to greet you, say your name. The building was designed by the architect that built the airport. There's a lot of light, flowers, original art on the walls. You come to the photography studio, you get like the latest equipment to work with. You can take a camera home. So, and that's why I started thinking also, because I'm working here and I know where those kids are coming from. I'm hearing the stories about their schools. And I started questioning, why is it like that? And that led me to democratic education and alternative education circles and the quest to humanize education. That's when an engineer from Carnegie Mellon showed up in my photography studio with a robot that takes panoramic images using point-and-shoot cameras, so accessible. But also the pictures were so big and so detailed, so kids could put them online. And I worked with a group of kids in Pittsburgh. There was a group of kids in South Africa that were doing the same. And they could look at each other's environments and zoom in on the smallest details and kind of tag the details and ask questions about those. And they were having conversations teachers would kill for. I would try to force them to have, like about gender, about economy, about just from looking at stuff and asking each other questions about what they're curious about. So I really liked how that lab was thinking about technology, and I ended up convincing them that they need to hire me to help them get more educators on board. And they agreed. So I spent 12 years at Carnegie Mellon. And in the first 10 years, I developed this partnership model. I worked with schools of education in 8 different universities. So the idea was to change how technology lab partners with community, because usually you invent something, you partner, you do your pilot, you write your paper, and they never see you again. And we wanted to be present in communities all the time, whether we invent something, whether we talk about what we should invent. That's how we ended up partnering with other universities in other communities, and it was an ongoing partnership. And that structure ended up working really well, and I found myself just operating, and that is not what I like to do. I like to start stuff. I'm patient. I mean, I put 10 years into starting this thing, but then I was like, okay. I brought somebody that actually had a PhD in educational technology to run that. He was very happy to do that, and I was able to, with another coworker, we were looking for the next lever to pull on. So we humanized education, we're humanizing technology, and my coworker just finished her MBA. So she was like, let's look at business. And we talked to anyone in Pittsburgh that would talk to us. Ended up at Alpha Lab Gear. It's a startup accelerator for hardware companies. And the founder there said that she was losing sleep over ethics. They're preparing companies to succeed, and they're invested in them as well. And she didn't want those companies to end up on the front page of the newspaper for the wrong reason. We were very excited about that. We embedded ourselves in that accelerator for 2 years. And we were told that the founders are so busy, they don't have time for us. So we showed up, of course, on the first day and said, listen, we want to talk to you about ethics. We don't know what we're doing, but we'll figure it out together. Who wants to do that? And 9 out of 11 companies raised their hands. So, and then they also ended up asking for dedicated office hours with us, did way more homework than we gave them. So it turns out that I went to art school and I learned everything about where I'm coming from and what am I putting out into the world. And I didn't learn how to make a buck. If there was a class like that, I'm sure it would be full all the time. And I feel like what happened in accelerators was the opposite. Like you learn all about how to make a buck. And the moment somebody opens a class that, oh, where am I coming from? What kind of company am I building? How am I fitting into my community and into society? And it was a no-brainer for people to join. And then after a couple of years, we decided we're going to spin it out into a company, Ethics MVP. And we didn't do our homework because after we started the business, we realized there was no market, that accelerators would not pay for that. Actually, corporate accelerators did pay, but they were not enough to keep us fed. And my co-founder left, and I was left asking myself, okay, what did I bring into that? And I realized that the office hours, which were pretty coachy, and facilitation. And I was like, well, if I'm a coach, I don't have to work. I can keep working with startups, but I don't have to work only with startups. And maybe I can actually make a business out of that. So I went and got certified as a coach. And now I'm able to support myself also having my business. But also, as I was working and looking into technology and the ethics of technology, more and more I realized that The technology wasn't the issue. It was the systems in which the technology is being developed. So the technology is mirroring who we are, what we believe, or actually more than what we believe, how we act, and more than our stated values, our lived values are reflected in the technology we develop. And that's where I turned my gaze completely to, wait, how do we do business? How is business structured? And not surprisingly, unfortunately, the same way that education is a system that nobody likes and everybody keeps feeding, business also doesn't seem like, or at least business as usual doesn't seem like a system that is designed for humans to thrive inside. My main crusade since then is humanizing business, changing what we prioritize for in business. In my mind, all of us, each and every one of us has one life. So like that's what you prioritize for that life to be good. And I believe you can have that and make a good living. So that's where my coaching practice is. And then, so somebody that worked with me, Isaac Graves, is now in the Threshold Foundation. He was in the trenches with me during the democratic education and alternative education time. And when I started working in business, I saw that he's also working in a business organization. It was called American Sustainable Business Network. So I reached out and he invited me to their conference and I met the community and I'm still there.
Beautiful. Thanks for the arc of your journey, from the army to food to arts to education to ethics and business. And we definitely share this kind of systemic analysis, right? That the systems that businesses are running in is not designed or optimized for human flourishing or even flourishing of life, right?
And I like that for that framing that you guys have about for the benefit of our life or
Just try to make it real simple. If it's not enhancing life, then we don't look at that.
why are we doing it?
Yeah, so then that's outside the criteria, and we're looking at things that create mutual benefit. So, I'm curious, what are you seeing in your work in terms of being able to either, and I imagine you're working on both levels, both in terms of maybe shifting systems, but then also, I'm hearing there's direct support to individuals within systems of how they can even operate their day and then have a higher leverage, like you're saying, it's one precious life. So how to support both ends of that work.
So actually, becoming the chair of the board at SVN I'm very happy I did, and I can't imagine anything cooler to do at this moment.
Oh, and just make sure to say it's Social Venture Network, right?
Oh, yeah, that's true. So when I came to ASBN, I could tell there's some tension that it was a merger between several organizations. And as a newcomer, I could tell, and as a coach, I was like, ooh, like, what can I learn here? And I tried to help keep it together. It didn't work. So Social Venture Network was one of those organizations that were part of that merger. And when the merger split, I went with the Social Venture Network people. We had sincere conversation about whether we should exist. Maybe we just compost it. There's a lot of people doing good work, but the members said, no, it should exist. This is a place that takes care of the people behind social venture. So like, for example, if B Corp is like an organization of companies, Social Venture Network is specifically for the humans that make that happen. Another thing that came out of that gathering is that SVN wanted to be member-led. So as a member of the interim board, I helped bring the first democratic election for SVN board. So we have the first board that is elected by the members right now. I'm very excited about that. And I'm very excited about my board. I show pictures of my board
Oh, nice.
as often as I show pictures of my child or my dogs. So coming out of a merger is tough and it's a bit of a crash. So we are now getting new energy going and bringing SVN into the future. We stand on the shoulders of giants, but also I'm looking for who's doing stuff right now.
And do you mind, for maybe folks that aren't aware, but I mean, SVN was founded back in the 80s, right?
87, yeah.
So, and it's one of the first networks of socially conscious business leaders, right?
Yeah.
Can you share a little bit of that arc and evolution?
Yeah, it was started by Wayne Silby and Josh Millman. The first members were people like Ben and Jerry's, Stonyfield Yogurt, legends in our field. And from the beginning, I believe it was a community where those people came to be with peers, to support each other, to learn from each other. And out of SVN, a lot of big stuff came out. B Lab got its start. or at least the spark of the idea of PLAB. There's all kinds of stories. Business for Social Responsibility, a Social Venture Institute, Investor Circle. There's at least a dozen, much bigger than SVN, initiatives
Right.
that had big impact on the world that started in that room. And that room also, I think, pretty much kind of started writing the language that we all use right now around purpose-driven business. And I think to a degree changed the language companies use when they talk about. Some of them do, some of them talk, but that language is in there now. So yeah, when we are reviving SVN right now, we are looking to, again, curate a room of people that are at the forefront, that are visionaries, that are doers. So our role is to create that group of members and create opportunities for them to interact, and then they go out there and do whatever the world needs next. I'm joking, like the C Lab and the D Lab or something.
So yeah, what specifically is new? I think you have a gathering coming up.
Yeah. It is June 17 to 19 in Santa Fe. It is called Revival. And it is not just revival for SVN. I feel like this moment right now is a moment where a lot of us are shifting, especially in the US. We had quite a trauma happen when the leadership changed. And a lot of purpose-driven organizations are actually physically suffering, like being sanctioned. And a lot of others were kind of in defensive posture. We believe now is the time to kind of move from that defensive posture as a community and get back to doing and get back to rebuilding. And that's where the revival is SVN revival, but also a bigger revival. We hope to leave that gathering with a new energy, with some concrete ideas of what we're going to do. And then those ideas are not going to be led by us. Again, whoever's going to be at the gathering. And again, I'm inviting people personally to make sure that we have a really good room.
And going forward, what isn't one of your initiatives peer circles of connecting some of the members in specific groups?
So yeah, peer circles actually has been around for a while. There's some peer circles that are still going and been around for longer than a decade, maybe even more than that. But yeah, peer circles is a flagship program of ours. I think if you go to our peer circles, you get your value from the membership and then some. I mean, people pay tens of thousands of dollars to be in like leader circles and yeah, so for a fraction of that, we match people together with peers monthly, and every month somebody else brings up something they want to discuss, a problem they want to solve, and they have the brain trust there and also confidential and safe space to work through things. I love my peer circle. We are now in our second year, and we decided to stay in the same circle and keep going. But on top of that, we also are going to start affinity groups, because something that members are asking for is, can I meet with other people that are working on climate, or people that are asking themselves questions about AI, or some more interest-based that will be online as well. And then our gathering is, or in the past conferences, are definitely the reason a lot of people are at SVN. They want to come together in person. And we will try to also bring in regional gatherings. So maybe a little less of a lift and give people more opportunities to get together more often with others in their community. Community in this work is so important. Otherwise, you're kind of going out there and you're speaking a different language and nobody gets what you're talking about. But if you get with your people, you don't need to do the whole preamble and you can just jump into it. Actually, as a coach, I find the same thing is if you go to a business coach from the perspective of next economy, you'll have to spend like a couple of very expensive sessions just explaining, no. Like, really, I am prioritizing for happiness. I'm prioritizing for. So yes, people that work with me do say that this is something like you can just start talking. I know where you're coming from. I'm pretty embedded in this. I mean, I don't know everything, but yeah, I'm in there.
So yeah, there's an important frame and container, and then once you're inside, then you can really kind of move forward with those groups, especially whether it's in the peer circle or like you're saying, the affinity groups of connecting on specific issues.
Yeah. And we also see ourselves as an important player in the ecosystem of networks. So again, like when we looked at should we even be around, it's because there's a lot of people doing work. So we're trying also to be a good citizen in that way and help work together to get where we want to get. Which actually my vision, I think what we need really is an example. That's what drives my coaching practice is I want to help people succeed as purpose-driven business. Because then when I want to open a business, I can look at that neighbor and at the other neighbor and like this neighbor is having way more fun. They still have a nice house
Yeah.
and a good car, and like they're putting the kids through school, and but like they also are like they're making stuff happen in the community, and their employees are happy, and so that's on the individual level. But then when I look at a network and network of networks, I see an opportunity for an example of an ecosystem. So yes, we can talk and we can meet in our rooms, but what if we build this small ecosystem where people can see, no, this works, nobody died, people are actually happy and thriving, but we have like everything. We have like our manufacturing, we have our service people, we have our microeconomy that actually is just a demonstration of, look, this can happen, and look how much better it is. You can go back to your cubicle, but look at this. That is a big hope of mine is that we get close to that.
And just to make it more specific, are you thinking in like certain regions, or what is this ecosystem or network of networks? What could you imagine it manifesting as?
I hold space and give permission. That's my job as a coach and as a chair. So that will have to do with people, but I think that the curation is important to make sure, like, do we have the crypt, but the business as usual got to that, and cynical people got to that. But I was also like, at some point, I was thinking about, okay, like, what if we all have like a purpose coin, whatever it's called, that is only used between whoever accepts it, are aligned with you in values. We all agree to accept it from each other, and we can find like a place where we can get our groceries that is values aligned, and we can find a place where we can sell our kids that is values aligned. And yeah, but it can work. I mean, there's Galia Benartzi. She's a niece of Netanyahu, but like you can't judge people for having their uncle. It's a little off there. She does amazing work. She's with Bancor, I believe, and she does amazing work with. She gave women in poor neighborhoods in Israel, she called them hearts. And you could earn hearts for doing some work in the community and volunteering at school, but you can also like pay each other with those hearts. And those places that had very little money, like had business in volumes, like if you counted the hearts, it was a lot of money was flowing. And all of a sudden, just by saying, okay, we have money, like all of a sudden it became. So you would watch somebody child, you'd bake a cake for somebody. I think also it just showed how much unpaid labor is going on in the economy. But
Exact. The word is carts.
hearts, like a
Hearts.
heart.
A heart. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's basically an informal currency or a local
Yes,
currency, right? Or a mutual credit
exactly.
system. Yeah.
Yeah. But I like when you say crypto, like, or you say people's eyes glaze over, and I understand why, because it became this like manipulative thing. But I think that the idea behind it is, and Galia, she quotes somebody else that I don't remember right now, but like the right number of currencies is somewhere between the number of people in the world and the number of countries in the world, or something like that.
We should have a diversity.
Yeah. If it can make something happen, like why do we need to? Especially the currency we're using right now is based on scarcity, and you are incentivized to keep it out of circulation, which is starving the body. It's like taking the blood and putting it in buckets in a freezer. So yeah, no. What if we create currency that behaves differently?
Right. So this is back to your comment on like the systems. So within a certain system structure, you can only behave so well. So if the system structure is you all need money, but yet money is created by interest-bearing debt, then that creates insanity, right?
Yeah.
And scarcity and real harm.
And during the pandemic, I flipped the table several times in Zoom rooms when we were like, oh, how can we make it work? And I was like, there's enough money for all of us to be doing well and all the communities we serve to like thrive. That's the thing. And as a coach, you are acutely aware that we choose narratives and then we shape our lives around those. And as a coach, you help people understand that if this narrative doesn't work for you, let's find a better narrative. And we can do that as a society. Just we have to decide.
Well, let me jump from there in your coaching, your experience. So in this kind of highly polarized, hyper accelerated business climate, right, where folks have to make a learning, we're seeing unprecedented burnout just due to all the pressure, especially when you have a vision for an economy that works for life and you're committed to it. So how are you helping leaders reclaim their joy and purpose in this stressful moment?
We go back to the essence. Like, why are you doing this? I start with fun. If you don't have fun, like, go get a job somewhere. Why are you in this and what makes you happy? I think that a economy that works for all life starts with the life that is running that being a good life. So I go by, like, if you go on my website, it says I'm a leadership coach because people believe that there's like a separation between business and life. So there's life people, life coaches, and then there's business coaches.
Right.
I believe it's a fake wall.
Hmm.
With humans that are doing business and humans that are doing a lot of other things. So the first thing I work with people is, okay, let's start having fun. Let's start enjoying what you're doing. And when you understand what that is, that makes you happy, all of a sudden, like, priorities are clear, and things that you were worrying about and wasting cycles on and anxiety, like, they just are, oh, what if I don't worry about that? Or what if I find a way that I don't do that? I mean, I don't know, some people realize, oh, I hate doing this part of my job and I'm focusing on that. Let me hire somebody to do that part. All of a sudden, they're like, okay, let's go do the thing that, like, I set up to do. So I think that also being in a system that does not recognize the way we think or does not have structures always for the way we think, it is easy to get distracted by what the system is asking for. And that's where having somebody help you realize what you believe and then give you the permission to know that idea you had, that is what you need to be doing. And that is what's going to bring you joy. And that's also what the world is looking for right now. I mean, it may take a little more patience, but that's where it's at.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I love it. So if we have a vision to help life thrive, we have to actually thrive in our own lives, right?
And that's another thing.
Yeah.
I show up in purpose-driven circles and make peace of people by telling them, oh, if you made $500,000 this year, that's not what's wrong with the world. And I know people will argue with that, but I'm also, if we are all getting in rooms and have a beautiful conversation and feel great about ourselves, and then we go home and we can hardly make ends meet, like, why would, like, everybody want to do that? And I understand, like, you want it to be, it doesn't have to be lucrative, but it has to be supporting your life, living a decent life, supporting your children, your community, being able to support causes. I don't know. Business does help you also. It is there to make a living. It is also there to solve problems for people, which a lot of us forgot, which is another thing that, yeah, I talk to people about.
So another question for you, how do you see the role of ethics in technology as we move into the future, right? There's just, I mean, I was thinking about it recently of like, wow, think 3 generations ago, all of my grandparents were just homesteading without electricity.
Yeah.
And now everybody's basically a cyborg, right, with their little supercomputer on their hand. What are you seeing for the future of ethical technology?
So it's interesting. Throughout my journey, I came to define ethics as building systems that are aligned with our values. Break it down, like, your values is this, I believe, and ethics is this, we practice. So from belief to practice, and from I to we. So it's a social contract. And as I mentioned, the more I worked with technology, I realized it wasn't the technology. Technology just reflects where it came from. So when I talk about ethics in technology, I am looking at what are we prioritizing for as a society and as a business. Because if we change that, I believe that we'll be in a way better place. If you prioritize for extracting as much value as you can, and that's what you get. Don't be surprised when you open the newspaper or when, like, your electricity bill comes in. I mean, that's what we optimize for. But if we choose to optimize for, again, thriving of life, thriving of human happiness, you'll make different decisions, even in technology, because that is the priority. So, yeah, I think it all goes down to, like, what are we optimizing for?
So, given the landscape of big tech and the big money behind it, what's the likelihood of getting some more altruistic intentions behind the development?
It's not altruistic even. I mean, like, I'd be surprised if Elon Musk is a happy man. It's just like, have a good life, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't think all those, like, tech titans are, like, super joyful in their lives. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
that
Nobody's winning the win-lose game, right? We're all losers.
nobody's winning this. No, and actually, the whole startup ecosystem is actually another part of Zebras Unite was what part of my journey into this world, and I like that they questioned that. I mean, really, only a small group of people that 10x their money are the ones that maybe win. But then, like, from the company that's being invested in, from the CEO to the employees, to the employees' families, to, like, it brings so much misery. Yeah, so I don't know about chances. I think that it is, when I say we need to decide, it's one by one we need to decide. So, for example, my son goes to a private school and his friends live in castles. and like crazy houses. He comes to our house and he's like, why do we live in such a shithole? And like, why are we so poor? And I told him, listen, both your mom and I decided to do things that matter for the world. We could have been making way more money if we did other work. But then a couple of months later, I caught myself and I was like, I am perpetuating a narrative here. So I went back to my son and I was like, I lied to you. You can do good in the world and make a lot of money. And now I'm on a crusade. I'm on a journey to prove that. But yeah, it took me. I mean, if I keep telling the same story that if you do good, like you just gotta like do with the crumbs, then that's what will happen. But if more of us are starting to say, well, no, that's not how it works, eventually that changes the story.
So, what are some of the things that are really on your mind in terms of the typical, like what keeps you up at night? What are the things that you're really focused on solving?
So one of my values, as you will find on my website, ethics coach, is coming from the Jewish idea of repair the world.
Tikkun olam?
Tikkun olam, yeah, repair the world, yeah. And what it says, or at least the part I take from it, is you are not obliged to see it through to a solution or to like an outcome, but you also are not exempt from doing the work every day. And I think that when you shift from outcomes to just like, I'll do what I'm here to do, you get more sleep at night. I mean, like change work can be very frustrating if you look at outcomes. But I do believe that over time and over generations, I may not see it, but I have no choice but to be me and to do what I want to do. And I may even be wrong, but I don't know. I found a lot of liberation in that in terms of what keeps me up at night. But yeah, I think that definitely what is concerning me right now is how polarized we are, how we are buying into narratives that pit us against each other. And I think that the most powerful resistance is for us to recognize the humanity in each other and take care of each other. That is something that I would love to see. And I'm not saying it's easy. I'm struggling sometimes to talk to people I don't agree with, but it's well worth it.
So, who are you currently either watching or reading or influenced or inspired by?
Actually, it's easier to name like looking back. So
Sure.
definitely what I did with you guys at the MBA, Next Economy MBA, Zebras Unite, and then yeah, I mean the giants I'm standing on the shoulders of at SVN, but also I am eager to meet more of the people that are doing the work right now, that are the next generation. So that's who I'm watching for. I'm actively searching for them right now.
Any examples? Who might that be? Is there other networks that you're inspired by or connected with?
Well, yeah, I mentioned, I don't know where Zebras Unite is right now. When I just came back from the B Lab retreat, it was a group.
I know we got to hang out there. That was a good one, huh?
Yeah.
Milwaukee. Who knew?
Wonderful people. Opportunity collaboration. Is that it? Yeah.
Yeah.
OC. Yeah, opportunity collaboration. I mean, there's so many places. Social Venture Institute, SVI, on Cortez Island, always bucket filling experience. And my clients, I kind of decided I only want to work with people I look up to. And for the most part, it works pretty well. Yeah. So actually, interestingly enough, lawyers.
Yeah.
Lawyers, I gained appreciation for lawyers as I started looking at systems because, and several of my clients actually happen to be lawyers that are building new systems or facilitating a language for a new system. This is not my strength. I'm like, okay, like here's the idea and here's the permission. But then if you need to make it happen in the world, like these are the architects of like how systems are built eventually. Like, oh yeah, like take this, take that. And now you can go make it a thing in the world. So there's quite a few. And I can name some. Erin Correa is my lawyer. She's doing amazing work. Alan Bromberger, longtime member of Social Venture Network. Jenny Kassan. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them, and we need them. And I love how they. So when I talk to groups or when I worked with cohorts, I would talk about the big and the boring. So go save the world. I'll clap. I'll be so happy for you. But Tikkun Olam actually is now like you show up every day and you do the little thing. And it's also talk about onboarding an employee and saving the world. Like good luck with that. But if you tell them this is how we do our purchase orders and this is why. So like those nuts and bolts are what creates a sustainable change. That's where lawyers are very important. I love my lawyer. And I never thought I'm going to say that. But I love my lawyer. And there's quite a few people like that I look up to.
We might not be able to say that about all the lawyers, but you bring up, I think, a really important point that, the legal system has a lot of consequence to how it's set up, and we can rewrite the laws, right? And we can rewrite the contracts and the expectations, and we can do it legally and even creatively. I'm thinking of our friends at the Sustainable Economies Law Center, where they write their bylaws in cartoons.
Yeah.
It's a legal document and it's stick figure cartoons. So like bridging this gap towards accessibility and also just changing the actual structures to serve more life. So
it's too bad about the 99% of lawyers that give bad name to the 1%.
It's true in a lot of fields now, right?
Yeah. I'm hoping that the numbers are not as stark, but yeah.
Yeah, and I share that optimism, and that's kind of this moment of connecting the networks, because I think there is way more solutions. Here we are discussing okay, Next Economy Now, we've been running 11 years, we got like 400 episodes, and these are all folks like yourselves that are living into the future of an economy that works for all life. So it's non-fictional.
No.
It's just not fully integrated, and it's definitely not broadcast on all the main channels. And strategically so, because to your point, if people knew how awesome it could be, then why would you do anything else?
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's kind of the job now, is to like expose people to the abundance of the solutions. Once you can't go back.
Yeah, no. That's, yeah. No, I mean, once you're like, I can have fun.
Yeah.
It's as simple as, you can have fun. You should have fun. Because nobody's giving you back any of those minutes.
Love that. This is the foundation of your work. Well, Dror, as we're moving to close, what do you need right now, and how can our listeners support your work?
Well, I find myself called to speak more. So I'll be happy if you have a gathering and you want. My speaking is usually more participatory, more facilitated. But yeah, I am good at holding space, drawing ideas out, and giving permission to then go and do something with it. Yeah, I mean, if you feel like you're overwhelmed or on the verge of burnout, please get in touch with me. We can't lose you. We need you back on the court, and we need you happy doing that, not suffering. In terms of Social Venture Network, we are now in a process of on an effort of revival. We are looking for, definitely invite anyone that what we talked about here resonates with to join as a member. We also are looking for sponsors that maybe want to get their name in front of our audience. So the sponsorship is actually for the revival. So it's not for a specific event, but like for a full year, like you mentioned in our newsletter, that goes to 20,000 people, all our platforms, and all. There's more information on the SVN website. So we're looking for sponsors. If you want to partner with us on that journey and put your name on that as well, kind of step up. And yeah, we always are on the watch for good board members. So yeah, if anyone out there feels called, please reach out to us.
Great. Lots of opportunities to engage. Do you want to share where folks can learn about your work? Maybe websites or social?
So my coaching work, you can go to ethics.coach and you will find pretty detailed information about what you can do and what's in it for you. And then Social Venture Network is at svn.org. Do visit. It's an amazing community. So actually, I recently sat with somebody and I realized that this board chair thing it's a volunteer thing. Nobody's paying me to do this. Which again brings back like, I'm going to have as much fun as I can. And I am actually having a lot of fun doing this. And even the gathering that we're about to have, like I'm inviting the people I want to hang out with. Like this is, how did I get there? I don't know. But yeah, no, I'm here to have fun.
I love it. Well, Dror, thanks for sharing your work and your life journey with us on Next Economy Now. And yeah, I'm happy to be having fun right along with you, building the next economy. So thanks so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Sean.
Hey, Next Economy Now listeners. If you enjoyed this conversation and are looking to dive even deeper into the B Corp movement, you'll love our new podcast, Beyond the B, hosted by Lyft Economy's Amy Allison and me, Ryan Honeyman. Beyond the B is your insider's guide to the B Corp movement. You'll learn about the new B Corp standards shaping our community, how the B Corp movement is navigating the various tensions and challenges of growth, and how businesses like Patagonia are putting their commitments to people and planet in practice. Check out our latest episodes and free resources at lifteconomy.com/beyond. You can also subscribe to Beyond the B on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks again for listening.
Hey, Next Economy Now listeners. If you haven't gathered from our podcast already, we're really passionate about helping to build a future that works for all of us. If you share that passion and are looking to deepen your practice, we want to share a few ways to connect and learn directly with the Lyft Economy team. You've likely heard of the Next Economy MBA, which we started almost 10 years ago and have trained over 800 alumni through the fundamentals of business design from a regenerative and just perspective. New this year, our Next Economy Fund will embody our values of democratically allocating resources to Next Economy entrepreneurs that are part of our alumni network. We've also launched 2 trainings that came directly out of our MBA community's desire for more in-depth skill building around 2 key topics: organizational leadership and personal life design. Next Economy Leadership is a workshop series designed to help culture leaders at purpose-driven organizations move towards full embodiment of their values. And Next Economy Living is a 6-month training designed to help everyday citizens and consumers take actionable next steps to transform their local communities to align with a future that works for all of us. You can hear about all of these offerings and other ways we're supporting the Next Economy movement at lifteconomy.com/next steps. We deeply appreciate you being a listener of our show, especially in a cultural moment when attention and community are hard to come by. We're amazed by the community of folks we get to learn alongside through these offerings and hope you'll consider joining us.